All right, welcome back to Kamicuozzi Uncaged. I'm Tom.
I'm Tommy.
We are here with the famous Dr. John Lasore from Eden Chiropractic.
I was just about to say he doesn't get an introduction. We just kind of rolled right into that, but it
Yeah,
was your introduction of him.
yeah, yeah. But thanks for coming on,
Yes,
John.
sir.
I
Thank you
appreciate
guys
it.
for having me.
John's a real close friend, and he plays such an important role. Um, we tell everybody all the time that how important it is to stay ahead of the injuries here, and you 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 actually you guys been playing such a big part for years, but just recently now you're well, I say recently, over the past couple of years, you've been coming over here now and keeping an eye on us. um, it, you're awesome. You do such a good job
Thank you.
um, keeping these guys in check and just doing what you do. So I guess how long have you been over there now?
This is going into my fifth year with Eden Chiropractic, and I think this is 3 years now with you guys.
Okay,
It's-
yeah, my God.
And we're still trying to play catch up on my injuries. We're
Yeah.
we're catching up slowly but surely, but we're
we,
still
we,
trying.
we need 20 more years, Tommy.
20 more.
Yeah, they there's people. I look at it. I look at it like, okay, there's hurt and there's being injured. We stay. I want to say we stay hurt.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want to say we train hurt all the time. Um, what we don't want is injured. What we do on a daily basis.
I feel like I don't want either of those.
No, I know. But I can't say, like, especially during fight camp. During fight camp, we're dragging ourselves off the mat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're doing. You introduced us to dry needling,
Mhm.
which is awesome. If any of you out there haven't tried it yet, it is the coolest thing ever.
It is.
So I guess, so what's the whole dry needling? What's the whole background on the dry needling?
Yeah, I try to tell people what it is, and every time I try, I'm like, um, you get stabbed, and they're like, neat. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty much.
So dry needling is something. It's very similar. I think a lot of times people get it kind of mixed up with acupuncture. So acupuncture is something that dates back thousands of years, and it's based on Eastern medicine. So Asia, very big for it. Dry needling is actually more focused on, I guess, muscle trigger points and myospasms. It's more of a musculoskeletal kind of modality. So with acupuncture, they're actually looking at a whole body kind of focus. So it's going to be more systemic type deals.
Okay.
So what we're doing when a muscle is at its resting length, it can fire the way that it intended to do, and it's also able to relax, and it's not pro-inflammatory. That's a healthy muscle. When you constantly are using muscles over and over and over, sometimes they get stuck. So now they're not functioning properly. Other muscles around are having to compensate for this muscle group not working the way that it should. So the way the needling works, it kind of helps this raveled up muscle go back to its resting length. And the way that it does that, it's pretty neat, and it's pretty complicated when you start talking about the electronegativity of the needle. There's a lot of factors that play, as far as what happens at the cellular level, so we won't kind of go into that. But the big thing is we're taking a muscle that's a balled up yarn, and we're unraveling it so it can be healthy and also let the areas around it be healthy.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah. Tommy was the first one. Well, the first one out of us to start it.
Was I? Or was it?
I
Was
don't
it
think.
not?
I
No.
think, I'm pretty sure it was you.
It was me.
Yeah, I
think
Let's-
so.
I am the trial run.
Yeah.
I was, you know,
yeah.
he had to do his trial on me, right? You know.
But yeah, before we did it on you and Connie,
Yeah, I didn't want no-
He didn't know
wanted to
how
make sure it was
first.
safe on Tommy
He was
first.
like, I read this online one time. Let me see if it works. But no, I've had back issues since like middle school. Like I'd wake up, go out of bed. I don't know. I slept wrong with training. You know, whatever was causing it, I'd wake up and be like, "Yo, that sucks." And I went in. Actually, I think you did it here the first time.
Yep.
And you stabbed me a little bit. And the next morning, I was like, "Huh, my back doesn't hurt."
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a gradual decrease of pain. It was just like, poof, gone.
Yeah, it's
Now I can pick people up so much easier.
that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
That's why we do it.
So you guys just had your official ribbon cutting
Yes,
last
sir.
week too.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
yeah. And you guys were there.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you again. That was meant a lot to us. We had a big support group come out of the community. It was, even Dr. Vaughn, he came, out to visit. Dr. Howard was there. There was all of the chamber was there. It was a pretty big, show of support for
Yeah,
sure.
it was. So I've only been to a couple of these things, and usually it's a good amount of people. You guys had a slew of people. Yeah, like me, it
I think
was.
there's a fan base.
There
behind
is
chiropractic
so
at
much
this
support for
point.
you guys.
Everybody loves Dr. Dabbs.
Yes. Between you, Dr. Dabbs, all the girls over there, and there's a lot of new faces.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you actually showed me around the new facility, which is amazing. That place is huge, and oh my God, I didn't realize it was going to be so big. But I've seen a lot of new faces there.
Mm-hmm.
There was enough room the other day. I went for an appointment, and we threw a football in the facility. We bonded.
I'm glad he's a fighter, not quarterback
Yeah, yeah,
for the
yeah.
Panthers right now.
He was the last person picked in gym class. It always came down to him and the foreign exchange student with the halo brace.
I was a solid like fifth person picked. Like I wasn't the best, but I was the most competitive in the gym class for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Never the best, but I'd always be sweating the most. Like playing middle school like dodgeball, I'd be dripping sweat, my shirt soaked. And I'm like,
I used to.
This is where he got the fighting spirit from.
that's what middle school
And it
dodgeball.
all makes sense, yeah.
That's what I think about when I get in the cage. I'm like, I'm playing dodgeball with these 12-year-olds. I'm messing all of them up. I'm winning this game.
Oh,
I can't play.
man.
We'll do dodge glove with the kids class sometimes, where we throw instead of dodgeballs, we use gloves. I'll let them have a little fun sometimes. You know how much it takes not to just like hop in.
Yeah,
And they'll be like, Mr. Tommy, play with us, and I'm like,
you don't want any of that smoke,
you
kid.
don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Oh
But
man.
did you? So what did you do before Eaton Chiropractic? Did you come out of school and into Eaton
Yes,
Chiropractic?
yep. So I think there was about a week and a half to 2 weeks between graduation, moving home, finding a place to live at home, and then making sure all my licenses and certifications had went through with the state board. Before I'm pretty sure December the 28th was my first day. So I guess
So the knowledge was
two
fresh.
It was, and it's coming out of school. That's great that you have all this book knowledge, but you don't really have any. You've trained in clinic because it's part of your internship,
Yeah.
but I think at that setting you have someone that's above you, someone that you can, if you need to go to someone, you can feel comfortable that it's almost like a safety net. Well, this is the first time you kind of getting thrown out and like, hey, this is, it's your responsibility to take care of these people. They're counting on you to, help them with their health, to help them reach their goals. And it's on you. So, it's obviously you have to have the school background knowledge to be able to do those things, but definitely it was a little scary at first getting into the clinical setting and just learning how to talk to people. We use a lot of big words in, the professional type of schooling, so you can't really tell someone about the brachial plexus or, you just can't use those words. Obviously, that's, if you call the neurosurgeon, that's how you want to talk. But if you
Yeah.
talk to, the
I like that you dumb it down for me when
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
here. You,
If
you
you
draw
have
me
an-
a stick figure, and you're like, "This is where it hurts."
You have an owie in your shoulder.
Yeah. If you call, you want to think about if you were calling your grandmother, how would you explain it to them? That was one of the best bits of advice
That
that I
actually
got.
makes sense, yeah.
Because, if she can understand it, most people should be able to grasp it. So we use a lot of analogies that make sense. And they may not always be the exact correct, but usually people can get the gist of what we're
Right.
saying, and they can wrap their head around what we're doing.
Right.
So that's been super helpful. Um,
We love having you here.
I love being here.
Having you come in, especially during fight camp, um,
So helpful.
it really is. And then you've actually traveled with us. Dr. Dabbs had come to a fight, you and Dr. Dabbs, but you've actually traveled with us to a fight, to a couple fights.
That's when with Dabs. That's when we broke down in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
We had to get towed like 200 miles back to Eden. Oh, that was terrible.
That's rough. You could have made it a nice little beach vacation.
We
Yeah.
were walking down the street. We got pulled over by the cops. we had to explain that we weren't homeless.
Yeah.
That was that was a fun day.
I'm not
And
homeless.
Tommy won. Everything was
Yeah,
great.
Everything was great.
I'm not homeless or a prostitute, but, but my truck did break down.
I think that was the fight. Actually, that was the one you guys came. That was the first Myrtle Beach fight we had.
No,
Where,
second.
was
This
that the
It
second
was the
one?
convention center.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay,
right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I remember the first one where it was in the hotel like event center.
That's when you knocked your guy out bad.
I'll never forget. Like you're checking me out after the fight, making sure everything was good. And Darlene didn't know you at the time, or she like knew of you, but
Yeah,
she hadn't
yeah.
met you, and she was like, "Who's this guy like touching up on Tommy?" She was like watching you, and she was like, "Hey, who's that guy?"
She felt threatened.
Yeah, and I was like, "That's Dr. Lasore," and she was like, "Oh." She just thought you were like a dude like filling me
Wow.
up, like, ooh. He's got muscles. These will be gone in 3 weeks, but he's got them now.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget.
Darlene has approached me about that, but I don't think I got the full story. So,
Yeah, she was like, "Who's this man?"
oh
Touching
my
Tommy.
gosh.
Just
That
filling
is
him up.
great.
It's so great having you in our corner, though, because as a matter of fact, we got a cool picture of right before you walked out. Was it your last fight? And
Yeah, it was the last one.
It was you, the cop, and John.
Yeah.
John's sitting there. I'm like, man, something's about to go down.
There were people commenting. They were like, the doctor looks more terrifying than the fighter. And I was like, you got a point.
It's because I was hungry. I hadn't eaten in hours.
That's
I
what
was getting hangry.
Like, I like to be happy, but when I'm hungry,
I was.
I think that's why weigh-in day.
I was
I'm
looking
so
for the
happy.
taco stand. Obviously, you can see how focused I
it's
was.
like, I just wound up in the room with the cage, and I was like, I might as well stay here.
Yeah, I think weigh-in day. That's why I'm so happy. I'm so like mad, during the day. But then I eat, and then we do the face-off and stuff, and I'm like, because I'm good. I got some food in me. Good to go.
And it's so cool. Because people ask, they're like, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy that's
He's my
constantly
bodyguard."
checking you out?" And they're like, "It's pretty much our doctor." I think
Exclusive.
Yeah, I think that's we're the only team that has the coolest doctor with us. But it is it's great. You went from like coming in here and just seeing what we do, and now you're like a permanent fixture.
I love it. I mean, it's pretty unique that I don't come from the wrestling or the fighting background. Growing up, I kind of did the big three. It was football, baseball, basketball. That's just kind of what we had available, and I love playing sports. I still enjoy playing sports.
Yeah.
So when I first saw this, I was like, man, this is amazing. I enjoy being around it, and then getting to know everybody at this gym, it made it easy for me to come back. Like you, Connie, Tommy, you guys feel like family. So I mean, you've been nothing but great to me, and I know that anything that I need, you guys would be there, and vice versa. But everybody in the gym really makes it too. It doesn't feel like this doesn't feel like a business. It feels like a family where everyone comes in to get better at their craft, but everyone is supportive here. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. I'm going to be better than this guy, or I'm going to go out here and show this guy up.
Yeah.
But it's, you really can tell, people are constantly encouraging each other. You look out on the mats, everyone is, something that they've learned, they're showing the next person.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really, when you see something that, is that big and it's so good for the community, you want to be a part of it.
Right.
It's,
Right.
Well, we appreciate that.
I
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You come walking in here, and this is after everything gets going for the next class, and you see them like one by one just coming up to you.
Yeah, the
slapping
mat's
hands.
empty out.
Yeah.
I got, like,
giving you
3
a hug.
people
Like,
on
oh,
the
John
mats
must
now.
be here.
Everybody crowds around. Who is it? What does Kira call you? She just calls you like
the,
doctor.
the chiropractor guy.
Chiropractor guy. Thought it was Doctor Chiropractor, but yeah, chiropractor guy. We don't know your name, but we know your purpose. That's all that's necessary.
But and you guys, Eden Chiropractic itself has been such a huge part because, of course, we got a lot of fighters that like to eat. So we started off going there, getting our fighters on track and getting a good diet plan, and then we went to, all right, this one's broken. so we're gonna have to. We suggest that you go over to Eden Chiropractic and see what they can do for you.
Oh yeah, I recommend that constantly. Even to people who are like an hour away.
Yeah,
I'm like, look, I know it might not be convenient, but here in Eden, there's this guy.
yeah, and we've just been working hand in hand for such a long time now, and it's just great having you. As a fighter, well, so you've been around now for a few years. What's probably one of our most? Do we have a common injury?
Yes, absolutely. left shoulder specifically. So,
I think that's just a trend at the moment. It'll fade away eventually. It's like mohawks and mullets, man.
Shoulders absolutely get destroyed. It's if you think of all the different things you're going to do with martial arts. So when you're throwing a punch, you have the acceleration, deceleration aspect of it that is very similar to a baseball pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
You have the acceleration and the deceleration. So, and you hear about them constantly having, shoulder surgeries, elbow surgeries. Then you take into account jiu-jitsu, where you guys are constantly torquing and twisting, where now we're, the stabilization aspect of the shoulder complex is getting really jacked up. And then, for guys like Mike White, just extremely strong, sometimes I think that we overlook some of our smaller muscles, like, our rotator cuff compared to the deltoids, the traps, some of the bigger muscles that are overdeveloped, and it kind of predisposes us to injuries too. And some of this can be work related. What we're doing as far as, a routine part of our day that, may set us up on the mat for, possible injury later. And it's kind of where, it's good for me to be out and, when I'm here, I'm on the mat a lot,
Right.
trying to look and see.
Oh, you're
what's-
up in it.
yeah.
You
So-
really are in there.
You saved me from hitting the wall a couple of times.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture with me, you, and Turan, where I almost ate it that night?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Dude,
Yeah, you are definitely, you don't want to miss a thing, and you're not watching from afar. You
Oh
are
no,
there.
I'm feeling the sweat drops.
Yeah.
It's I, I could hear Turan's glove go by my head. It was how close. That was, man. He hits hard too, so I don't know if
He really
yeah.
does. I'm working on him. I'm gonna get him to fight. I swear, I'm gonna get him to fight.
He fights me enough.
Yeah.
Tell you what, he hurts too.
But but like you said, I think the shoulder injuries are very popular.
So definitely with the shoulders, and yeah, I would start to say some knee and ankle stuff too. And it's crazy when I came in here with you guys, I was thinking that um, I was coming on Wednesday nights, which was the MMA night. That was going to be the main night. Then I would try to pick up more if we got into fight camp.
Yeah.
But now that I'm seeing jiu-jitsu so much more, I'm kind of almost feel like jiu-jitsu is just as injury prone as, MMA night. I mean,
It-
it's very taxing.
it is. It is. Uh, you were actually there. So when I was started having shoulder problems,
Hmm?
uh, you were actually one of the ones that, well, you were the one that got it right, because I went and they put you through the test, and of course they're telling me to touch my back, and they're like, well, I don't think it's your rotator cuff, and you approached me and you told me, you know what, seeing what you guys do and how you guys train, that I could be using different muscles to pass these tests, and kind of like cheating the system without knowing it. And man, you hit the nail on the head. You really did. Because when I went for the MRI, it was a disaster.
Yeah, 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 it
It
was.
was a
It was.
disaster, and you hit the nail on the head. I'm very thankful for you, and of course the other doctors that took care of it as well, surgeons.
And I think, in their defense, if you don't know what goes on here and how, like, how many traumas can occur from things that don't look that bad, but when you get out there and, you get in that position yourself,
Right.
or, you don't realize how hard these guys train,
Right.
and how quick and how strong they really are.
Yeah.
It gives you a whole new appreciation for the mechanism of injury, of how these, injuries occur, and it makes you think a little bit outside of the box. One thing, when first started going with Tommy and really kind of focusing on how can we keep him healthy, I had to start watching MMA fights. I kept it on my TV at home.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was constantly looking at what injuries from this position, because especially from this area, we just didn't come up with it. So I had
Right.
to almost reteach myself a whole new sport,
Right.
to be able to, help the guys here.
Yeah.
So it's,
You do a lot of that, because you'll even put on the focus mitts and catch for Tommy.
and my shoulder's still sore.
Yeah. Is it your left?
Yes, my shoulder, yeah.
But I just started catching for Tommy again. Like my shoulders are starting to feel good enough to where I'm starting to catch for him. And
Yeah. Oh, you look fluid the other night, man.
yeah,
It was good.
I'm looking forward not to be a fat gym owner guy anymore. I want to get back into it so
See,
bad.
I'm trying to get to that point at this point in my life. I'm trying to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
coming.
swap.
You're his inspiration, John.
Yeah, well, I try to be. I try to be.
I want to be the guy, like, people come in and they're like, man, don't roll with that guy. He's really good. What rank is he? That doesn't matter. He's 560 pounds.
All right.
You'll never see me in guard again. It's always top position.
Yeah, I like when people try to put me in guard now. They're like, my feet aren't even touching. I'm like, shut up. But so now you guys are all moved in, Eden Chiropractic. That big, what's that address again? That's the
I don't even know. It's I think it's 723 South Van Buren.
Okay.
I'm most likely wrong on that.
I forgot my own address a couple weeks ago. Did I tell you about that? I told you about it. but where I had woke up, I set alarms on my phone. I had woke up and went to shut the alarm off. I hit the emergency dial button. So 2 minutes later, 911, what's your emergency? And I was like, whoo! So I woke up and I was like, I'm so sorry. I clicked the emergency dial button. I was trying to shut my alarm off. They were like, all right, just verify your name and number. So I was like, all right, name and address. And I was like, Kamicuozzi.
And of course, they all probably know me over there, and they're like, "This guy."
Exactly. Like, what's my address?
You were put on the spot, man.
I was. And it took me a solid 2 minutes to think of it. I was like, oh.
Like, you do get punched in the face a lot, so
I do.
So it happens.
It was rough.
Oh, man.
It was rough.
So what are you guys? You have like a huge turfed area now in there. What goes on in there?
So, we also have Pro Therapy Concepts and NC Reps. They're going to be the ones utilizing the turf mostly. So our physical therapists, a lot of times the turf it's a great area for patients to be able to walk around, and there's it's a little more grip with the turf. So
Right.
if we're worried about, an elder person slipping, falling, it makes it a little more safer for that. The big reason that it's used for with NC Reps, we've got Chase Thacker and Clint Summerlin that are working with a lot of kids, athletes that are looking to excel their game. So it's going to focus on strength and agility. They do some sport specific training too. They also do some one-on-one personal training.
Okay.
So it's really kind of unique, all the things that they're capable of doing with the turf, because we have a ton of equipment.
Right.
And Chase and Clint are really good at being able to set up a program based on what that person or that group needs.
Right.
They're awesome to work with, and also John and Debbie, they still help out with it. Me and Tommy were using it the other day. We're trying to figure out what can we do to get shoulder better. Well, I can't do that in a patient room, so that turf area really opens up just a lot of treatment possibilities, or a lot of therapy or strength and conditioning. So it's we're really excited to have a lot more tools in our tool bag.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. I was so impressed when I walked through there. And the place is huge. And then plus the equipment that you guys have out there and all the office space, and not to mention the parking space.
That was a big knock from the
Oh my God.
from the last office.
The
for
parking
sure.
space is amazing.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's really cool. And we're looking forward, we got big plans for the future. We're hoping certain avenues open up for us, which they seem to be, especially in the last few months.
Yes, sir.
We're getting offers, and I think it's going to open up
I'm
the
waiting
the fighting aspect.
I'm waiting on Dana White to slide up in my DMs.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're an okay fighter, but that Dr. John Lasore guy,
That's who we want.
we want him. And to get him, we got to go through you. And
Call me, Dana.
yeah,
Yeah, just
we're on a first name basis
hit us
now.
up.
Dana and I.
And there's Connie doing her ring girl. Yeah, that's my.
Well, I
request
have a
right
sign
there.
to hold up. Oh no. We'll get to this in a minute.
Yeah, we got the food truck rodeo. Let me get the date right.
You got this? It's on the poster, but I don't want to let you see it.
It's April 15th.
You got it.
Ah,
We got it.
we got tons of trucks coming. That means eating, drinking. The Lemonator is going to be here, so which is pretty cool. There's nothing that says gym and boulevard more than food truck rodeo.
Oh yeah.
But it's
Well, that's
all,
the trick. Is they eat bad out there,
yeah.
and they get healthy in here. It's that's like you see those those gyms in the big cities that are in little plazas, and right next to them there's a Chinese buffet. That's the trick. Yeah. So it's you eat bad and then you come in and get healthy, or you come in and get healthy, you work really hard, now you're rewarding yourself with that Chinese buffet. It's a good business situation. We're gonna have an open mat that day. No, we're not, but it'd be a good idea.
It would be.
I'm gonna be
Actually.
busy. I'm gonna be busy selling things
Hey,
that day.
I do want to do a podcast that day.
I think
a,
that
a
would
live
be.
podcast,
I
and
think
we're going
that'd
to do
be
a
really
taste
cool.
testing.
Absolutely,
dude,
we're doing
that's-
a taste
that
test.
would be great.
We're going to do a live
Absolutely.
podcast that day and do some taste testing, meet some people. It's going to be really big because I think this is the most trucks that we've had lined up in a long time. And
Not
it's-
even in all. I think it's the most trucks we've ever had.
Yep, the boulevard's all pulling together. Plus, we have the help of the chamber, which they're all awesome. They put in so much hard work.
Yeah.
And advertising and organizing.
Yeah. I mean, I think this goes further than just the boulevard. I mean, this is like the city of Eden
Yeah,
helping out and organizing
Oh,
this
yeah.
event. I think this is going to be a big event.
yeah.
I put a poster at work, and I was gonna put it in like the lunch break room, but I realized I could put it in the lobby, like with people going waste.
Yeah, and boom.
So I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's going to be good. But we have. Do we have one question?
We have.
We got
yeah,
two questions.
but it says part 1 and part 2. Which one would you like?
I'll go part two.
You go part 2. Okay.
I'll go part two.
Please pass it down.
And we have not.
Well-
I haven't seen these.
I haven't
Have you?
seen these
You
either.
haven't seen these either.
I would like to make mention, the food truck rodeo coming up. There's going to be not only the food trucks, but I believe you mentioned the vendors
Yes.
that are going to be over there. They're non-food vendors. I'm going to be one of them.
What are you going to be selling?
So
You were just.
I'm
One,
glad
I was
you
waiting on
asked.
this.
yeah, I'm glad.
I'm glad you asked. So number one, Funko Pops are a big craze now, right? I collect them. You saw them last night.
Yeah, it's.
There's-
I just
there's
got
never-
done. We just got done showing
Yeah.
John pictures, and it's.
I was gonna say I have too many, but there's never too many. There's still a collection I have to complete. Once I complete that, I'll be a little more satisfied. But I have to complete it first, and I'm like 100 away from doing that. So, needless to say, we get like mystery boxes and stuff, and sometimes we get a mystery box or just an extra one. We're like, we don't want it, so we sell it. So we're gonna have those. And I mentioned a couple weeks ago about my 3D printer.
Yep.
Well, I have these buff Pokemon. This is Squirtle, but he did some shots in the vein. This is what happens when you dry noodle guys. So make sure we see Dr. Lasore about that. So we have
we
Squirtle,
got Buff.
also known as Hurdle. We have Chiseled Charmander. Well, not block him, do it, striking the pose, and then we have Swolbasaur. He's so I'll be selling these guys. I also have one giant Pikachu. He's
Oh,
massive.
that's the one that
Everybody
I've
knows
seen, yeah.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Everybody. You
But-
could look at it and be like, "That's Pikachu," whether you've seen Pokemon or not. I just wanted to make mention of those. I've been meaning to bring them in for weeks now.
Well, there
And
they
I
are.
haven't.
And
I actually have to re-glue this one because this morning I was so excited in my haste to grab it that I flopped the stand a little bit.
you
So I
get
gotta-
5% off on that.
Yeah, 5% off. Discount code Swole Pokemon.
Swole broke. But but yes, we have non-food vendors, and it's going to be
There's gonna be a lot.
yeah, it's going to be a good time. So what's part one?
Part 1. All right. Let's unfold this. Now, do we know who this question is by? Matthew Langholtz.
So that's
Pronounce that right? Yes. All right. I'm having trouble with my double leg takedowns. Not sure if it's psychological, because I think I might get kneed in the face, or if I'm struggling to level change or feeling like it's too athletic of a takedown for me. Open to any suggestions. Love your show. Thanks. How nice of you.
that is great.
That's very nice of you.
You're the one that's watching it. That's great.
Thanks for liking.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Actually, I've been working on these lately. Not just double leg takedowns, but takedowns in general. And my issue for the longest time was that I would shoot in, right? I was confident in my defense, not as confident in my offense. I knew what to do. I knew how to do it. I'd shoot in, get to the legs, and stop. I wouldn't keep the momentum up. Right now, I haven't seen Mr. Matthew do a double leg takedown, so I can't say he's doing the same thing. But that was my issue. So my advice and what I had to tell myself is just to send it. Right? You just got to send it sometimes.
You
I
gotta
told myself
Pull that trigger.
you got to pull the trigger because I told myself I did a Toro Cup. We discussed that on the last week's podcast. Wonderful event.
Yes.
Can't pronounce podcast correctly, but but I did a Toro Cup one time, and I was like, I'm gonna hit a takedown, right? I'm gonna take this guy down. I've been working on him. I got out there and I froze. I didn't. I waited on him to shoot on me so I could defend, and I was upset with myself. So then after that, I was like, I'm gonna take this guy down. I shot in. There's a black belt, double leg takedown, boom.
Yep.
I was like, man. And honestly, it's just a matter of sending it, right? If you get kneed in the face, you get kneed in the face. We're cool. This is practice, right?
Yeah.
That's why we practice. If it happens in here, we're in a safe spot. Avoid it in here. Go for them in here. That way, when you go into a competition, you're good to go. You know how to avoid things. But yeah, my biggest thing is just to send it. Once you get there, keep moving. Don't stop. Get to the legs. Just keep driving.
Live drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
drill,
good. It's really
drill,
good
drill.
to practice, slow, methodical, but do it live. Go with somebody, do some live takedown stuff. Let them defend, right? If they're defending, find at what point they're defending, and drive through that. Or, it could be that we're going straight on. We're trying to drive straight forward every time. If they're defending backwards, I'm gonna take you down this way.
Yep.
Right. Cut the angle, step around.
Right.
Right, because you're defending behind you, not to your right.
That is definitely not one of my strong points. Is my takedown. Something that I've been working on too. But
I can tell you've been working on it.
I'm trying.
You're a lot more solid, very hard to take down. You always have been.
Yet I'm always on the ground when you tell me that.
Well, 'cause I've been working on it while you've been injured.
So this is also this is the second part from Matthew. How do you keep teenagers involved and interested in BJJ? Then in general, the BJJ journey over life. So that's a great question. Nowadays, it is kids, specifically teenagers, get eaten up with video games.
I'm one of them.
Their phones. Yes, you were one of them.
I'm one of them.
Their phones, that device that you carry around in your pocket, keeps you on social media. It keeps you. It's so easy to play video games. It is so time consuming, and I think I could speak for everybody how much that it affects how kids are nowadays and the health problems. Back in the day, we used to ride our bikes for 14 hours.
Strong legs.
Yeah, we were always doing stuff.
You probably had to see Dr. Lasore here for your legs. I'm sure they were hurting.
But we would stay out all day doing stuff. And nowadays, kids stay locked in their room. They don't socialize with anybody unless it's over social media and it's terrible for the brain. The parents that I see here, the parents, the guardians, the family friends that actually take the time out of their day to drive their kids here.
Yeah.
So they can not only be a part of a sport, but they're actually, you see these kids talking
Yeah, but
every
be a
day.
part of a group.
Yeah, they're talking, they're communicating, they're laughing. Seeing people take the time to get them here, those people, I can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
It takes a lot, people are busy nowadays. If you're an adult or close to an adult, you're working, you're trying to pay the bills, but
We wouldn't know what that's like.
yeah, we wouldn't know.
We relax all the time.
But it's those people that actually take the time out to get the kids here.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really, really deserve the pat on the back. And then
Yeah.
the kids, once they're here, they want to be here. They're having fun, and it's not just here. It's other places too that have. They're lucky enough to have the same type of people
Yeah.
to do that. But it all starts with how are these kids getting to these places? How are they gonna be active in BJJ? Well, they have to get to BJJ.
Right.
They have to have a family member, a guardian, a friend to tell them you need to stay involved.
Yeah.
That, you know, because the social skills now that these kids are going to have,
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're terrible.
Yes.
They're terrible. And I'm not saying all the kids, but you know, if you put these kids up in a job interview, you know, thinking in that kind of aspect,
Yeah.
oh my God, you
I think
know,
it's important to come in here with that.
yeah. I mean, they need real life skills.
Yeah.
And BJJ is just. I always tell everybody that's like new to the gym that we have the biggest group of misfits
Oh, yeah,
that would
if it
never
weren't-
be friends on the street if
Right.
it wasn't for here.
Yeah, like we wouldn't know anybody
Yeah.
in this gym.
No, because it's so many different types of people.
It really is.
Yeah, and
It's never somebody you'd be like, man, I want to hang out with that guy. But then you get to know him and you're like, you're the coolest guy ever.
yes, yep.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at you.
And it all starts with John.
Yeah, it all starts with John. I think that's probably the most important thing to stay involved is to honestly overcome that social barrier and just, you know, to talk, to make friends. Now we were talking about the kids, right? You know, being friends with them and, you know, the teenagers, right? Because, you know, you get a teenager that comes in, especially if they're like, you know, there's that age where like kids class, it'll benefit you, but, you know, there's a point where you're like 16 rolling with 10-year-olds. It's not going to be
Yeah,
too good.
yep.
But, you know, you're, you know, in the adult class, you have a 37-year-old over here and you're 16. So, you know, it all depends. You know, when I started going to Gracie Burlington, right, I knew like 2 people. And I started going, and I'd hardly talk to anybody. Just, you know, I'd go train, and I'd make small talk. But, you know, I was nervous. There were times where I was like, how do I want to go? And everybody's so nice. But, like, I didn't know anybody. But as I started going more and more, I started making more friends and knowing people.
Right.
And, you know, Austin over there, he's a super good friend now. You know, I remember I was super nervous to talk to Spencer just because he was a black belt. And I was like, what if I say something wrong? What if I say hi wrong? But I'm like, oh, he's a super cool guy. But I think it's getting over that social barrier, you know, making friends. And even if you have one friend, and I think that's partially not a responsibility, but that's partially on the coach, right? Like you see somebody new come in,
Yep.
and they're not, you know, talking to anybody. They're kind of sticking to themselves. You kind of have to go over to them and, you know, make small talk. You know, get them a little more comfortable, because if you see that they're nervous and they're only sticking, you know, to themselves or to whoever came with them, you got to be like, you know, you know, make friends, switch partners. I think that's really
Well,
important.
you know, it's funny you say that because when we do get together with the other gyms,
Yeah,
we always make it a point to say get together with somebody other than
right.
someone from your gym.
And
Get with somebody new.
Yeah, and that benefits not only the social skills, but your physical skills as well. Your jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA,
Yep.
all of those skills as well. Because you get in the gym, right? You get to know everybody in the gym, roll with everybody in the gym. You know it, all the looks,
Yep.
right? Like you might see something new here and there, but you know their skill, you know their style. You go to another gym, you might have somebody with the same rank. They got a different style of rolling that you're not used to. Demolish you.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's all the same, both physical and social. I think switching partners, putting yourself out there, but once you do and you make friends, you're going to be a lot more comfortable. You're going to want to come a lot more often.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, we're going to wind down here, and John, I want to thank you again for
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
on.
Thank you.
Thank you
It
guys
was
for having
awesome.
me.
Thank you guys, you, Dr. Debs, and everybody over there at Eden Chiropractic. Thank you guys so much for what you do. You play such a huge role with us.
Thank you.
Massive
I,
role.
I couldn't imagine. Now that you've been coming for so long, I couldn't imagine you not here.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more hurt,
Yeah.
both physically and emotionally. I'd probably cry.
Well, Connie always cooks for me when I come, so
That's
I'm
what
coming
you do.
I'm coming back.
You do score a free dinner sometimes. That's good. That's actually.
I was told to hold this up. I gotta ring girl it. Oh, I gotta hold it over my face, guys. So But yeah, so
He looks a lot better now.
coming from the talking poster, it does mean a
Ready in
lot that you
face.
come in, and you've been a huge help.
But yeah, again, thank you guys, and we look forward to just building more on what we do here,
Yes,
and
sir.
having you be a part of it.
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to close
You
this
wanna
out?
do the outro?
Yeah, you got
All
to
right,
do the
I
outro.
don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a green poster somewhere in the video. If any of you guys can tell us where it was in the video, you might win a prize. But anyways, make sure we come to the Food Truck Rodeo April 15th. Eat some good food, buy some cool things. Swole Pokemon. Come on now. I only have one of the giant Pikachus, so be the one to get it, right? It's glow in the dark. It's the coolest thing ever. Anyways, thank you for listening to the podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Get notified when new episodes come out. Thank you all for listening. I believe we're going to wrap it up. See y'all.
See ya.